So cache is mainly it is used to optimize the performance. Okay. So optimizing the performance we have got. So why how it is optimizing and how it is like internally working? How is internally working? So let's take an example. The first time when you log into your machine every day morning, when you log into your laptop every day morning, when you try to open the Google Chrome, it will take some time in order to load all the configuration, and then only it will finally will get the browser will get loaded, and then only the browser will get loaded. So again, if you close that browser and you again if you restart, right, that time your browser may load fast because first initially all those configuration has been done, right, that has been stored in the cache. So whenever we next time we try to hit the browser, all those configuration details will be getting from the cache. So this time it won't go to the database and get the data and all. Let's take one more example. Maybe for example, first time you're trying to log in Amazon. First time you're trying to log in Amazon. Again, this is the first time in the morning whenever after you switching on the laptop, the first time you are logging into laptop, and first time you are entering the username plus password. First time you are entering the username plus password. So what will happen? So this whenever you try to enter the username or password, it will go and check in database. Will go and check in DB server whether the username and credentials for this particular users is correct or not. If it is correct, it will let you to sign in. If it is incorrect, it will deny to sign in. That we know. The first time it will check in database. First time it will be checking in the database. Next time these data, these credentials will be stored in a cache. The next time these data will be stored in the cache so that when user try, you are closing the browser. Again, you are closing the browser or you are doing a logout in Amazon. You have done the logout in Amazon. Now let you, if you again try to sign in, now this time it won't go to the databases now. It won't go to the database. It will first check in the elastic cache. It will first check in the elastic cache. If it is not available in this cache, then only it will go to the database. If it is not available in the cache, then only it will go to the database. So let me explain here. So I'll go for paint. This is my application. Let it be Amazon. Let it be Amazon application. Okay, good. So this is my database. Maybe RDS or any DynamoDB, anything. This is my database where all the information is available. Where all the information is available. Whenever this user signs in for the first time, whenever this user signs in for the first time, maybe consider it is your elastic cache. Consider it is your elastic cache. So what will happen, right? So what will happen whenever user do some action? First, it will check in the elastic cache only. First, it won't directly hit the database because the database latency is very high. It is in North Virginia region. We are accessing this Amazon application from Mumbai region. So this time, we would have configured not to hit the database which is in North Virginia region. So first it will check in the elastic cache only. First thing, it will check in the elastic cache whether the username credentials data is available in the cache or not. If it is not available, then we will call as it is called as cache miss. It is called as cache miss here because there is no cache. There is no cache here. So then only if it is not available, then only it will be redirected to the database. Then only it will be redirected to the database. Now it will check whether the username and the password which you have given is correct or not. It is available or not. Next time, the data will be stored in the cache because first time only it will hit the database. Next time again, if you try to like access or log in the Amazon, again now I will come up. Now I will come here. This time my username credential will be stored here as a cache. My username and credentials will be stored here as a cache. So this is called cache, maybe cart, can be cache cart. So if any username and credentials or any data available in the cache, maybe it is called as cache cart. If there is no available, it is called as cache miss. So that every time I don't want to go and hit the database. So it is a temporary storage where all the information will be cached over here in order to optimize the performance of my application. If every time I need to go and hit the database, which is the latency is very high, definitely the performance also will be very high. So what will happen? Every application, not only Amazon, not only Facebook, any application following this catchy technique, so that any data will be catched over here. Any data will be catched over here, so that it will optimize the performance of our application. It will optimize the performance of our application. Maybe, or it is also called as temporary storage, or it is also called as temporary storage, which means frequently accessed data. Frequently accessed data, which means frequently accessed data can be quickly retrieved whenever needed. Can be quickly retrieved. We can retrieve quickly. So when needed, and we don't need to go and check in databases and all. We don't need to hit the database. We will hit the database. So it will obviously optimize the performance of our application. I can even call it as temporary storage, which means it is like for every frequently accessed data can be quickly retrieved whenever it has been needed. So frequently accessed data can be quickly retrieved whenever it has been needed, and we don't need to hit the database and all. We don't need to hit the database and all. Obviously, if you are not directly interacting with the database, your performance will be very high. The performance will be very high. So this is how every organization are following their technique. If you are going to a browser, see here, if you open the browser, maybe go for AWS console. Now I am clicking on log back in. This time it is asking me to sign in. What I will do, I'll click on sign in. Maybe I'll just put a password. Click on sign in. So I will close this directly. I'll close this. And again, I will go for AWS console. If I click on log back in, see here, it is not asking me the username and password and all, because this username and password has been retrieved from the cache. The first time today, after opening the browser, it asked me the username and the password. If I close that tab, and if you open it again, if I'm just click on log back in again, so it is not asking me the username and password, because that username and password has been stored in this cache now. The username and password has been stored in this cache. The next time what is doing, it won't ask, because it is taking directly from here. It is taking directly from here. What will I do? I will just delete the cache and all. What I will do, I will delete the cache. See here, I'm deleting everything. Cookies and other data sets, maybe the last hour, everything I'll just password something. Everything I have deleted. I have closed the browser. Now I'll open the browser again. We go for AWS console. Then if I click on log back in, see here, now it is not, because I have deleted the cache. There was some information when I was logging in first time. So what happened? I have deleted all those information as well. I have made my cache empty. I have made my temporary storage empty, so that when I try to re-log in again, it is asking for the username and password. It is asking for the username and password. Now, if I enter the password again, now this data will be stored to the cache. Now this information will be stored to the cache, so that whenever you try to log in again, this information will be taken from the Elastic Cache. This information will be taken from the Elastic Cache. So this is the simple concept. What is elastic catching and how it is work and how it is work. So next we are going to see is lambda. Next we are going to see is AWS lambda. AWS lambda is also called as compute service. We will be calling it as compute service. Compute service. Compute in the sense calculative, I have already said, which is already EC2 service as well. Can also called as it is an EC2 service. Let's take one example. EC2, we know it is an virtual machine or a server. EC2, we know it is a virtual machine or the server, or we can even call as instance. We'll be calling it as instance. Now, if I want to, so after creating an instance, I'm going to connect that instance. I'm going to connect that instance. Once after connecting, I need to I need to install some Java, or I need to do some actions in Java. I need to do some actions in Java. What I need to do? I need to install the Java on my Linux machine or the Windows machine. Then I need to add any dependencies for those project. I need to add any libraries needed for that project. I need to set up the environment in order to execute. I need to set up the environment to execute. So these steps need to be done in order to run any Java project. In order to run any Java project. First, I need to install the Java. I need to add some dependencies and libraries for that particular project which I am going to work on. And environment is something where we are going to execute the task, where we will be going to execute the task. So this much of work is there. This much of work is there. Here, who will manage? Here, we need to manually set up this. The management is management of about task. We need to do it manually. The management of about task, we need to do it manually, or we need to manage everything manually. We need to manage everything manually. So whenever I'm just creating one instance, if I want to perform some actions, I need to manage it manually. I need to go and install Java. I need to go and install dependencies. I need to add the libraries. I need to set up the environment. Everything I need to do it manually. Everything I need to do it manually. So now AWS comes into the picture. Now in AWS, what they are saying is, hey, why do you want to set up it manually? I will give one service which is named called X. So he will take care of every management process and all. You just create one EC2 machine. You just create one EC2 machine. I will take care of all the settings. You don't want to like manually set up everything and all. So I will set up in the form of code. I will set up in the form of any coding language. If you know any coding language, you can do with the help of coding language. I will do it everything. You don't want to do it manually. So that X service is called as Lambda. That X service it is called as Lambda, which is a compute service. Which is a compute service. So what this Lambda is saying, hey guys, you don't want to do it manually, everything. I will take care of this management task and all. I will take care of installing Java, installing dependencies, installing libraries and environment and all. I will be taking care. You don't need to worry about this. You don't need to worry about this. Then it is a good service only, right? So I don't want to manually do it everything. I don't want to manually install Java, dependencies, libraries, environment. Everything this Lambda is going to take. Everything this Lambda is going to take care. Obviously, it is a good service. So that is the reason we are moving into this Lambda. That is the reason we are moving into this Lambda. Then what is, I'll come into what is Lambda. Lambda, simply we can call it as event-driven serverless compute service. Lambda, can you simply call it as event-driven serverless compute service. So let me debug one by one. What is event driven? event driven is nothing but it is driven by an event. If any event occurs, so this lambda will be notified. For example, let's take one example. So we have an S3 bucket. For example, let's take one example. We have an S3 bucket. If anything happens, what happened? I have integrated this S3 with this lambda. I have integrated the S3 with this lambda function. So we have written one code. Yeah, written one code. Don't worry, we don't want to write the code, everything available in the internet. So we have written one code in order to check if anything happening in the S3 bucket. We have written on code in order to check if anything happening in the S3 bucket. If anything happens or any file upload has been done or any file has been deleted, immediately the lambda will trigger. Immediately the event will be triggered because here it is driven by an event. Event who is triggering this S3 bucket. Here something happening, that is called event. Event is nothing but something that is happening, that is called event. Event is nothing but some process or something is happening in the process or something is happening in your service, that is called event. That is called event. So yeah. So event is nothing but something is happening. When something is happening in any of your service, like I'm just saying one example, S3 bucket. If something is happening in your VPC, or something is happening in your EC2, or something is happening in your S3, or any EBS, or anything, any service, this lambda function, whenever you integrate with this S3 bucket or EC2 or VPC or anything, so if something happening in that particular service, E will be triggered. E will be triggered. The event will be triggered. Triggered in the sense, what is triggering? Triggered in the sense, what is meant by triggered? Triggered in the sense, it will capture the logs. Will capture the logs. Logs is nothing but it is the detailed information. It is the detailed information of your event. So what happened when the file has been uploaded? We would have seen in SMS. Someone remembers, we would have seen the same thing in the SMS. So if anything uploaded in S3, the event will be triggered and with the notification will be sent to your email address. It is somewhat similar. S3, we have integrated with the lambda function. What happened if anything happening in this S3 bucket? This lambda function, because of the code only, it is continuously triggering the S3 bucket. We have written on code in order to continuously check the S3 bucket. We have written on code in order to continuously check the S3 bucket. So what happened? It will continuously look for any other event. It will continuously trigger the S3 bucket itself. So if there is any happening or not, any file upload comes in or any file upload goes out, it will continuously check. If something happened, immediately it will be triggered. Immediately the event will be triggered and it will capture the log. It will do whatever we were saying in our code. So let's come again. I'll show the demo. I'm sorry. I will show the demo. So as of now, event driven is nothing but it is driven by an event. It is triggered by an event. So if anything happening here, this lambda, then only he will get triggered. Okay. What is serverless? What is serverless? Serverless is nothing but above, without going lambda, you need to manually manage. You need to manually manage. Serverless is nothing but without managing the underlying infrastructure. You don't want to manage the infrastructure and all, everything I will take care. Everything the lambda will take care. It is mainly called as auto management. It is also called as auto management, which is serverless. Without managing the underlying infrastructure or without managing, you don't want to install the Java dependencies, libraries, environment and all. Everything I will take care, which is called serverless. Which is called serverless. So without managing the underlying infrastructure, which is called auto management, Then what is compute? We already know. What is meant by compute? We already know. It is something, it is a processing or any calculative or any processing service. So we can even call as event-driven serverless processing service. Event-driven serverless processing service. So we know what is Lambda. Lambda is nothing but event-driven serverless compute service. Event-driven is nothing but it is driven by an event. It is driven by any event occurs. Then what is event? Event is nothing and something happens. Event is nothing when some event happens or when some event occurs or any something any occurs or any actions occur. Some event or any action occurs in the service which you have integrated with the Lambda. That time the event will be triggered. That time the event will be triggered. So we are going to see one demo. I'll show 3 demos in this Lambda itself. I'll show 3 demos in this Lambda. Today 1 demo, tomorrow 2 demos I'll be showing out. So just listen. So demo 1, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one S3 bucket. First, I'm going to create one S3 bucket. I have integrated this S3 bucket with the help of Lambda. I have integrated the S3 bucket with the Lambda. I have written a code here. Code to check if anything occurs in S3 bucket. Anything occurs in S3 bucket. Maybe any file upload or download or anything or delete or anything. So I'm just writing some code in order to continuously check the S3 bucket. In order to continuously check the S3 bucket. Okay, good. So if you continuously check the S3 bucket, if there is any upload or any download or any deleting occurs in the S3 bucket. If anything happens, or if any file upload done, what I need to get the file extension. I need to print the file extension. I need to print the file extension in the logs. File extension in the logs. File extension in the sense, for example, if I am uploading file1.img, it should print me, right? Hey, I have uploaded. Should print me a message like, hey, I have uploaded .img file. Hey, I have uploaded .image file. If I upload file to maybe .png file, it should print me, hey, I have uploaded .png file. I have uploaded .png file. So it should print like this. So this is what our first demo. We are going to create one S3 bucket. For that S3 bucket, I'm going to create one Lambda function. Under the Lambda function, I'm going to write one code in order to continuously check the S3 bucket. If any upload done in the S3 bucket, I need to print the file extension in the logs. I need to print the uploaded file extension. You can even mention as I need to print the uploaded file extension in the logs. Like if I upload one image, I should get the, hey, I have uploaded .img image, which is a image file I have uploaded. If I upload .png, it should say .png file. If I upload any Excel sheet like Excel XX format, it should say, hey, I have uploaded .xlxx file. So this is what the message should be printed in the logs. This is what the message should be printed in the logs. Okay. So what and all needed to do is needed services in order to do this demo. Obviously, we need an S3 bucket. Obviously, we need an S3 bucket. Obviously, again, we need a lambdas. Okay, good. Lambda, we need S3 bucket in here. I'm saying that log I need to print the logs. I need to print the logs. How to print the logs? How to print the logs? So in order to print the logs, we have one service. We have one service which is called CloudWatch, which is called CloudWatch logs, which is called CloudWatch log. What this CloudWatch will do, right? What will CloudWatch do? CloudWatch is also called as monitoring service. CloudWatch is also called as monitoring service. What it will do, if Lambda found something, see, if Lambda is continuously checking the S3, Lambda has found something, like some file has been uploaded. It will go to the logs and say, see, I have identified one file has been uploaded. You just print this message. You just print this message. So under the logs only, we can see this message. Under the logs only, we can see this message. So there are, I can even say it is the monitoring service. I can even say it is gaining the insight. It is gaining the insights, or I can even say gaining the visibility as well. Gaining the visibility of anything if happens in the services. And again, it is used to check if things are working as perfect. Things are working as expected. Things are working as expected. So not only in AWS, if you are into testing or if you are into development, if any error occurs, right? The first thing the people will check is logs. The first thing the people will check is logs, because this logs only will capture the entire status. This logs only will capture the entire information. Like when the process has been started, when it has been ended, at which time it has been failed, what is the failure and what is the error, how to resolve this. Everything it will be mentioned in the logs. So the logs will be like, maybe I'll here, the logs will be like this. So when this started and what is the message, if there is any error message, it will be displayed over here. If there is any message, everything it will be displayed over here. You can check, okay, what is the error and which time and at which line the error is. So everything we can track it over here. So logs is something, it will check whether everything's are working as expected or not. It will check whether things are working as expected or not. So we need to have the CloudWatch logs. We need to have the CloudWatch logs. So next service, I need an IAM role. Why suddenly IAM roles comes here? Why suddenly IAM roles comes into this picture? We are going to trigger the S3 bucket with the help of Lambda code. Okay, you have said to print the message logs. Okay, we have gone into CloudWatch log. What is this guy is doing here? What is this IAM role is doing here? So whenever you are integrating, two or more services, at that time, definitely we need an IAM role. We need an IAM role at that time. Whenever you are integrating two or more services, we definitely need an IAM role. So here I'm integrating S3 bucket with Lambda and with CloudWatch as well. So I'm integrating two or more services. Definitely I need a role called IAM role. So in order to do this task, in order to do this task, I need 4 services. I need to use 4 services. One is S3 bucket, one is Lambda, one is CloudWatch logs, and other one is IAM role. S3 bucket in order to trigger an event, in order to do some actions like upload file, like acting like an uploading a file or deleting a file. So in order to Lambda, we are writing some code in order to check the S3 bucket continuously. CloudWatch logs in order to print the message. If anything happens, here only we are going to check the messages, whether it has been the image file or PNG file and all. IAM role, if 2 or more services has been combined, definitely we need an IAM root. So what I will do, I will log into this AWS. It has been logged in. First, I'll go for Lambda. See it. I'll just click on this Lambda. So Lambda is also called as function. How EC2 is also called as instance. How EBS is also called as volumes. How S3 is called as bucket. How S3 is called as bucket. The same thing, Lambda is also called as function. Lambda is also called as function. If someone asks you, do you know to create a function? Which means they are asking the Lambda. Which means they are asking the Lambda. So Lambda is nothing but it is a function. So click on create a function. So there are three options. One is author from scratch. Other one is user blueprint. And another one is container image. Author from scratch. If you know to write a code from a scratch. If you know to write a code from a scratch, at that time you can go for author from scratch. This Lambda supports Python. This Lambda I clearly mentioned this task. So Lambda supports multiple programming languages. Lambda supports multiple programming. It will support Python. It will support Node.js. It will support Node.js, maybe a .NET. So anything it will support. So I'll show you here. So first I will complete this option. Author from a scratch means if you know to write a code from a scratch, we can select this option. Or if you want to select the already written code from by the AWS, you can use this blueprint. If you want to select already written code by the AWS, see here, already AWS which is giving some sample code. Already AWS itself giving some sample code. If you want, you can do this. So container image is nothing but I will say that later. You don't need to worry about this. So as of now, two things. One is author from scratch, another one is user blueprint. As of now, I don't know to write a. Tomorrow I will show how to write author from scratch. Today I will use the blueprint, which is given by the AWS sample code, which is given by the AWS. Okay. See here, there is a sample code is there available. See here, Lambda is supporting Node.js. Lambda is supporting Python, and you see here in author from scratch. See here, Lambda is supporting .NET, Go language, which is a Google language. Lambda will support a Java language. Lambda will supporting the Node.js, Python, Ruby. So these are the programming languages are supported by Lambda function. You can write the code in Java. You can write the code in Node.js. You can write the code in Python. If you know .NET, if you know Google language, which is a Go, anywhere you can write the code. But you don't need to worry about the code and all. Just I'm going to use a blueprint. If you just click on this drop down, see, there is one already written code called get S3 object. There is already one sample code written by the AWS and it has been listed over here, which is get S3 object. We are going to get the S3 object, correct? So if anything uploaded in a file, anything uploaded in S3 bucket, it is an object. The file, we are calling it as an object. So I need to get that object. In order to print the extension, I need to get that object. So obviously you need to select get S3 object. Remember, don't select Node.js, click on Python. Click on Python option. So I just click on this Python option. Create your function name. Maybe demo function. Maybe let it be demo function. See here, I have selected a Python. Here comes the role. There are three options. Create a new role with a basic Lambda permission. Or if you have a role already created, you can use an existing role. If you want, you can create a new role here as well. See, I said definitely in order to integrate with 3 or more services, I need an IAM role. Okay, good. I got an IAM role. You can create here itself. If you go here and search for IAM, you go and search for IAM. You can create one role here itself, and then you can, if you have one role created over here, you can use an existing role, and you can choose here from the drop down. You can choose here from the drop down, or AWS itself is giving some basic role with some basic Lambda permission. If you want to use the already created, if you want to use the already created role, which is by the AWS created this role for the Lambda permission, you can use this. But I will use create a new from AWS policy template. Create a rule. I am going to select here policy. I am going to select the policy. Maybe my role name, I will just give this. If you want, you can create one role here and you can attach using the existing role. Anything is same. Either thing you can do. Either of the options you can select. But I am going to choose here, create a new role from AWS policy. From here itself, I'm creating one role. Maybe I'll just temporary team lead and just give us my role name as temporary team lead. Just give my role name as temporary team lead. Policy template, already it has been selected. If you want, you can select from this drop. If you want, you can select from this drop. Okay, yeah. So already selected Amazon S3 read only permission. Okay, I'm going to read only. I'm not going to do any changes because as a Lambda, I'm going to read if something happening in the S3 or not. I'm not going to delete or upload the files and all. So I have just given only the read only permission. Okay, good. See here, above we selected the template, right? Above we selected the template for get S3 object. So this is the code for that option. This is the code for this option. You don't want to understand the code, but I will simply say here, see here, print the content type. We have just asked to print the content type. So plus the response. So it will print, so the content is .img or PNG or image file or any Excel sheet or any Word file. This line is going to print the content. This line is going to print the content. This line is going to print the content. You don't want to understand this and all. Just to go down. Just to go down. Under the event types, I'm going to select only put. I'm going to select only put option because we are going to check only if the file has been uploaded. If you want to check, or if you want to for some other actions, delete actions or any other thing happening in the S3 bucket, I don't need to bother. I'm going to check only if any file uploaded has been S3 bucket, then only put something. You are uploading something, you are putting something in the S3 bucket, you are throwing or you are keeping something in the S3 bucket. So I need only put, or if you need, you can create on click on all object events as well. That is your wish. I'm just here clicking, selecting only put. I don't need any prefix. I don't need any suffix. Just click on acknowledge and click on create a function. Click on create a function. I'll again repeat. I have used the already created blueprint by the AWS. I have selected the get S3 object because I'm going to get the S3 object. So use the Python code, give some function name. And if you have an existing role, click on this use an existing role. If you don't have a role created, you can even create the role from here as well. So give your role name and select the policies. It will be automatically selected. If it is not selected also, just search for S3 read only permission. Will come here, and this is the code. It will come, and you need to check the event type. You need to check the event type. You need to check the event type, and again directly acknowledge and click on create a function. Okay. Here it is asking for your bucket name. Here it is asking for your bucket name. So I don't have any buckets. So what I will do, I will create the buckets. Go to your S3. Already add one bucket, so I'm telling this. What I will do, I'll create one bucket. Maybe demo lambda bucket. I just name it as demo lambda bucket. So not going to do any changes. Going to block all the public access. Click on acknowledge. Going to do any changes, click on create a bucket. It has been already exist. So, click on create a bucket. Okay, we have created a bucket. Okay, we have created a bucket. So we need to integrate this bucket over here. Need to integrate this bucket over here. So see here, the bucket which we have created has been done over. So next, click on create a function. So the function is creating. Okay, the function has been created. See here, the demo function has been created here. This is your function overview. This is your function overview. So now we have created demo function, which means a lambda as well as one S3 bucket. Function who should trigger? It should trigger an S3 bucket, right? It should trigger an S3 bucket for any event. So here, in your add, click on add trigger, choose the S3 bucket. Click on add trigger, choose the S3 bucket, and then event type already choose, but again choose here as put event. Click on acknowledge. Click on add. So see here, this the lambda is going to continuously trigger the S3 bucket. Is going to continuously trigger the S3 bucket. Okay, we have created a function and we have integrated with the S3 bucket as well. So they both are integrated now. They both are integrated now. This demo function, because of the Python code, it is going to continuously check the S3 bucket if anything happening or not. If anything happens, immediately it will go and print in the logs. If anything happens, it will go and print in the logs. CloudWatch, like logs, is already configured over here. See here, we go to monitor. There is one thing called CloudWatch metrics. You don't need to use a separate service and all. We have a view CloudWatch logs. In this, if I click on this logs, we can see what is happened. So what I will do, I'll go to my S3 bucket and I will upload something. I'll go to my S3 bucket and I will upload something. Maybe I'll click on add files. Go to desktop. I'll upload this. So I'll upload this test document. I'll upload this text file. See here, the content type is text plain. So in the logs, it should print me text plain only. Here, one file has been uploaded, which is text plain. So this is what it should print. And I'm not going to do any changes. Click on upload. So it has been uploaded successfully. So you see here, it has been uploaded. Now what I will do, I'll go to the CloudWatch logs. I'll go to the, if you go here under the function, there's one option called monitor. Under the monitor, we have an option called view CloudWatch logs. I'm going to click on this view CloudWatch logs. If you scroll down, see here, now there has been one log at 8:24. One log has been created. Just open this log. See here, one function has been started and we have got the content type, which is text plain. We have got the content type, which is text plain. Okay, one file has been uploaded. The content type is text plain. Okay, one file has been uploaded. The content type is text plain. Now, if I upload one more file, what happens? If I upload one more file, we add files. I'll add this image. I'll add this image. So the content type is image PNG. The content type is image PNG. Click on upload. So now it has been uploaded. Okay, it should print me content type image PNG. So I'll refresh the logs. And refresh the logs. Then refresh here. See here. Next, the request has been started. The content type is image PNG. The content type is image PNG. So Lambda is continuously triggering if any event occurring in S3 or not. If anything occurs, if any upload has been occurred, immediately it will capture the log. So we can see the logs in the CloudWatch logs. We can see the logs in the CloudWatch logs. See here, the content type is image PNG. The content type is text plain. If I upload one Excel file, maybe I'll upload one more Excel file here. I'll add files. I'll go for this arithmetic book. So the content type is application vnd.open XML format. Like this it should come. So click on upload. So I click on upload. So what I will do, I'll just refresh this logs. So I'll go now. See here, the content type is application VND open XML format Office document or spreadsheet HTML.sheet. So this is the content type for the file uploaded has been done. So this is what the first demo is. What I have done, I have created one Lambda function. And I have selected one blueprint template, which is already given by the AWS in order to trigger the S3 bucket. Whenever you are combining one or more services, you need an IAM role. So there will be an option. You can create a role there itself, or if you have created externally, you can even attach here as well. So once you created, just click on create a function. Then you need to create one S3 bucket, and you need to add inside the add triggers option. You need to add inside the add trigger. Where is the add trigger option? So this is the add trigger. So here, if now S3 has been displayed over here, click on add trigger and search for S3 and create attach the bucket which you have created, and then you can need to select the put request. Put is something uploading any file, or if you want, you can select all options. That is up to your wish. And then once you upload the file in S3, go here, monitor, view CloudWatch logs. You can see the logs as well. So this is what the first demo is. Tomorrow I'll showcase other 3 demos as well. So we have other 2 demos as well. How we are integrating with the EC2, how it is integrating with SNS and all. Tomorrow I'll show. If you have any doubts, let me know. We can connect tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
What is dependency?
So dependency is something like, for example, if you are installing Java, for installing Java, you need a Java, like, for example, if I give yum install Java, I mean, like, I'm just giving one command, yum install Java. So I'm giving one command in Linux. Okay, Java has been successfully installed. You are going to work in some project, right? Why you are installing Java? Because we need to work in some project. That project has some dependencies. Dependencies in the sense that project need the Java libraries. If they are a developer, they need a Spring Boot framework. Dependencies. If they are tester, they need a Selenium framework. They need a Selenium libraries. They need a Selenium dependencies. If they are working in some other thing, like they need a web, like there are more libraries, more dependencies. It is not limited to one term. There are more dependencies. In order to make the complete project, it is depend on multiple libraries. That is called dependencies. In order to make the complete project setup, in order to make the complete infrastructure project support, like that project needs some dependencies. Dependencies means same thing. It is similar to libraries. It need an Java library, it need a Spring Boot library, or it need a Selenium library, it need a WebDriver manager, or it need a JUnit library, everything, because it is dependent on those libraries. Without those libraries, we cannot do anything. So that is the dependencies.
Okay, okay.
Is others any doubt?
Nothing, sir.
Okay, we can connect.